Have you ever walked into the gym, started warming up, and realized that all of a sudden you're basically guessing your way through another workout? When I first got into the fire service, personally, that was me all over again. Trying to piece things together, stitching random workouts in with each other, just doing what I used to do before I got on the job, hoping something would finally start clicking again. Because to be honest, before that, I had it figured out. I knew how to train, I knew how to eat, I knew how to stay in shape. And then the job hit, and it felt like I was starting again from zero. When I first got on shift, my first year, I thought I could just keep doing what I was doing before, the same kind of lifting routine, the same kind of structure, and just layer the job in on top of it. And to be honest, on paper, it made sense. But in reality, within a few months, everything started breaking down. I was exhausted all of the time. Workouts felt heavy, I wasn't recovering, and I couldn't figure out how any firefighter on the planet could stay consistent on that type of schedule. The thing that finally changed everything wasn't some kind of new program or secret bullet or magic strategy. It was just me admitting something that I didn't want to admit. I had to cut my gym time by more than half. Honestly, it went against everything I thought I knew after a decade of experience in the fitness industry. And simultaneously, it's the reason I was able to get lean, build massive strength, and actually felt better on the job instead of feeling constantly run down all the time. So in this video, I want to show you exactly how I structured my training to make that work. But first, I need to walk you through some of the mistakes that I made that almost burned me out. My whole goal with what I do is simple. Just cut through the noise in the firefighter space. Now, here's the first thing I've noticed when it comes to working with firefighters. They have a tendency to overshoot and overcomplicate this. Mostly because nobody ever showed them how to train with this kind of schedule. So let me break it down and let's look at what actually happens. When I first got on the job, I trained like a bodybuilder, and that meant 6 days a week in the gym. That meant long sessions, a ton of volume, trying to hit everything perfectly. And I thought I could just fit that into the firefighter life. But in reality, within 3 months, I was absolutely cooked. Workouts felt like a grind, recovery sucked, and I'd show up to every shift before I'd even started, already tired. I wake up feeling drained and sore, and not in a good way, just like beat down. Everything felt stiff and inflamed. My joints were tight, my energy was low. I just couldn't wrap my head around how this was supposed to be sustainable. The worst part wasn't even the fatigue, it was the confusion, because I was operating under the belief that I was still doing everything right. I was showing up, being consistent, checking all the boxes, and at the same time, nothing was improving. I wasn't getting leaner, I wasn't getting stronger. All I felt like was I was more stuck. And I remember thinking to myself, maybe this is just how it is. Like maybe you can't actually stay in shape on this job. Maybe it's just part of doing it. After a decade in the fitness industry, I guess that hit harder than I expected because I really didn't want to accept that. So I had to step back and I had to ask myself a really hard question, which is, what am I actually doing wrong here? And you come to find out the answer was pretty simple. Your body only has so much energy to give in the first place. So you have to think of it like being on a budget. So think of it like this. When you're on shift, when you're running calls, sleeping like crap, 6 calls after midnight, 3 of them were for the same person. I'm sure you've been there. The truth is, a huge chunk of that budget is already gone before you even step foot in the gym in the first place. And I was trying to spread that energy across everything with high volume lifting and long workouts, intensity everywhere. No real structure. My body couldn't adapt to anything. It was always stuck in first gear. Crisis mode. My mindset before firefighting was always, if things aren't working, then you just got to do more. Got to do more sets. Got to do more days. Got to do more work. Got to do more volume. But that logic completely falls apart when you get on the job. You can stay in shape as a firefighter, but only if you stop pretending to have the recovery of someone living a normal life. So what I did is I finally made the one change that I had been avoiding for a long time. I cut my gym time by more than half. I went from 6 days into 2. Went from 12 hours a week down to 4 hours a week. Long sessions became focus sessions. I cut out the fluff and I kept only the things that actually mattered. And within a few weeks, everything started moving again. My energy finally came back. My strength stabilized. I felt better on shift and off. It was like everything had changed and everything started clicking. All right, so let's get into what did that actually look like. That was 2 to 3 lifting days per week, 1 to 2 cardio days for no more than 30 minutes per session. No matter how you split it down, whether it was 3 days of lifting, 1 day of cardio, or 2 and 2, the ideal amount of time was no more than 4 hours spent per week. More conservatively, you could say 3. Now, I know this sounds simple, but the point is that nothing is wasted. Think about something called the law of diminishing returns. That is the concept that we are applying here. And if you don't know what that is, pause this video for a second, look up this concept, and come back so that we are on the same page. For all the lifting days, the rules always stayed the same. Every set is intentional, close to failure, not up to failure, but close, with no wasted reps. There was no fluff, no chasing a pump just for the sake of it. Every set has to have a purpose. And the crazy part, it was all full body workouts. Nothing gets missed, but you also don't have to wait 4 or 5 days for a recovery period where you can barely move that part of your body. These full body days are built around the most important compound movements that focus on functional strength and mobility, which is the secret ingredient of firefighting. Variations of squats, lunges, deadlifts, presses, pull-ups, and rows. That's it. No crazy exercises, no complicated structure. Just the basics done properly at the right dose. And here's why this works. High intensity with low volume gives you enough stimulus to maintain or build strength and muscle without actually stealing the recovery that you're going to need because of the job that you have. Most firefighters don't struggle because they aren't doing enough. They struggle because they're doing too much of the wrong things. They're weak where it matters, burnt out, everything else. And strength, actually recovering, is what's going to fix that. On the physique side, if you care about that, 2 focused lifting days is more than enough to stay lean and muscular. So here's what I want you to take away from this. When I first got on the job, I was close to quitting my routine multiple times. I thought maybe this just wasn't sustainable. But the reality is, it wasn't the job that was the problem. It was how I was trying to train around it. Doing less didn't set me back. It's what finally allowed me to move forward. If you're a firefighter trying to stay in shape, then here's the thing. Less volume isn't falling off. 2 days, big movements, no fluff. Stop overcomplicating it and remember to train for your reality, not some kind of perfect schedule that will never exist for you. Now, if you're unsure of how to do this, then you can check out the free Firefighter fat loss protocol I have in the description, which has compiled all of my years of experience into one protocol so that you can save yourself from making the same mistakes that I did. Not only has this helped me, but it's helped over 1,000 other firefighters free up space in their life, actually learn how to recover and lose weight in a way that's practical for the lifestyle that they live, not some 9-to-5 influencer. All right, and lastly, before we go, what we covered in this video is more about what my total volume was to make it work as a fireman. If you want to know some of the exercises that I actually decided were total time and energy wasters, then check out this video here where I break it all down step by step. Lastly, what this channel is all about, remember one thing, which is being in shape is part of the uniform, and the only person that can do anything about that is you. Until next time.